Part 34. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 331. Chapter 331. Okay, I'm leaving. Fenling looked at the girl in front of him, face to face with her for the first time in the state of his soul. The girl looked at Fenling reluctantly and said, "Sister, I don't want you to leave. What if I encounter problems again if you leave? What are you thinking about? You're thinking that you have a problem before you even have one." Fenling laughed, and then she said, "Don't worry about what to do if you encounter a problem. You have to know who you are. Who is behind you? Although your parents are not around now, you still have your brother. You and Fenyuchen, no matter what happens in the future, you must support each other and cannot doubt each other. Remember, no matter who you are, you cannot doubt Fenyuchen, because he is your dearest person in the world. Only in this way can you get better and better." Fenling touched the girl's head and said, "Okay, it's getting late, I should go. You have to learn to face the world by yourself and live by yourself. Don't be afraid, you still have your brother. Your brother is a very good person, so I believe he can give you very good advice. What do you think?" Fenling smiled and then left under the girl's gaze. "System, what's going on?" Fenling looked at everything in front of her, a little confused. Although, it's true that she is Fenling, although, it's true that she has recovered her memory, but why didn't she return to the previous world? What exactly is this for? Fenling looked at all this with a dark look on her face, a little confused. The system replied sarcastically, "Master, this may be because something happened to Yeking Han. What's up with him?" When he came here, Fenling remembered who Yeking Han was. Maybe it's because he suddenly remembered you, or his body died suddenly and left that world, so you came to this world. Fenling. So, my dear system, please tell me how I should find Yeking Han now. System, Master, since I have never encountered this situation before, I can't tell you what to do. I'm sorry. Fenling, get out of here. System. It rolls now. The world where Fenling lives is a different world, the legendary apocalypse. It's the beginning, so everyone is panicked. Fenling's father, Feng Tian, lives with Fenling. However, the original person does not have deep feelings for Feng Tian as his father. It can even be said that the original person dislikes Feng Tian as his father very much and wishes to let him go. Because, Yuan Shen felt that her mother's death was all caused by Feng Tian. It was Feng Tian who was drunk and couldn't drive, and it was her mother who caused the car accident when she drove. From then on, Feng Tian never drank again, but he also lost his daughter's heart. Now, the end of the world is coming, and Feng Tian wants to protect his daughter very much, because he first awakened the superpower, which is an ice attribute, and it is a special superpower, while Fenling has just awakened, and Fenling knows that she has awakened. Water attribute, light attribute, and full support is a particularly unnatural attribute. But Feng Tian doesn't know that now. He only knows that his daughter is still treating him with a cold face, and there is nothing he can do to protect her. Dong dong dong, there was a knock on the door. Fenling walked to the door and opened it, and saw Feng Tian. "Dad. Lingling, are you hungry?" Feng Tian asked. He took a look and found that his daughter seemed to be in a good mood today and he should be able to chat with her for a while longer. Feng Tian was very happy to find this. He hadn't talked to his daughter for a long time. End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 332. Chapter 332. I'm hungry, let me cook, Fenling said. Feng Tian was stunned for a moment. "No, Dad is here, just do it. There is still some food at home, so we can survive for 2 or 3 days. They will be leaving in 2 or 3 days." Fen Tian felt very worried when he thought of this. In fact, he was not afraid of dying at all, but he was afraid that no one would protect his daughter after he left. Because of this, Fen Tian has never dared to go out, because he is a programmer and has never been killed. He is just a worker who does his duty. Fen Ling pursed her lips and followed Fen Tian to the kitchen. Although Fen Tian was worried in his heart, he didn't show it on his face and was still cooking for Fen Ling. Fen Ling watched Fen Tian cooking and said, "Dad, I have awakened. It is the water attribute and auxiliary ability." Fen Tian paused in his movements and looked at Fen Ling in surprise. "Tell Daddy, is this true?" "Really?" Fen Ling nodded. "Dad, your things are going to get burnt." Fen Tian turned around quickly to save his meal. Fen Ling looked at everything in front of her and suddenly felt like crying. Because, she has gone through so much time, but her real father really doesn't care about her and doesn't like her. How great it would be if her father were this Fen Tian. But, no. It can never be. Possibly sensing Fen Ling's emotions, the original person suddenly spoke, "Why are you crying? Why are you watching him cry? What's there to cry about?" "I also had a father before," Fen Ling said, "but he didn't like me. He liked his sister who had good grades for her sister. He would sell everything, even me. Later, my sister killed him, but he and I, Mom, identified me as the murderer." The girl was silent. She did not expect that Fen Ling would have such an experience. She always thought that her experience was already miserable. "But that's your father. My dad is not very good either. I keep telling him not to drink, but he just doesn't obey. If he hadn't been drinking, how could my mother leave?" "You are quite right. In this world, cause and effect cycle, and every cause must have an effect. But, have you ever thought about whether your mother will be happy if you and your father continue like this? Does she want her daughter to be like this?" Fen Ling looked at Fen Tian and continued, "He is very guilty, I can see it, but what happened has happened and there is no way to make up for it. I can't help you not to hate him, because he was indirectly involved in this matter. But, forget it, think about it carefully. After all, the world is not only about right and wrong, it must be either black or white. Sometimes, you can live happily in gray areas." The man heated up the food and then carefully brought it to the table. He looked at Fen Ling and said, "Ling Ling, you eat? You eat too, sit down." Fen Ling was more casual, but Fen Tian hadn't had a meal with Fen Ling for a long time. He sat down carefully and enjoyed this rare moment. "Ling Ling, in a few days, Dad will go out to find food for you." "Well, I'll go with you too," Fen Ling said casually. The man was stunned for a moment, then immediately shook his head. No, it's very dangerous outside. Dad can't let you go out." "But have you ever thought about it, if I don't go out now and don't improve my power level, then when the monsters outside become more and more flexible, and I am still only at my current level, my risk will increase significantly. You can't protect me forever. Even if you are always by my side, can you guarantee to protect my mother 360 degrees every minute?" End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 333. Chapter 333. Fen Ling just looked at Fen Tian, waiting for him to digest it. In fact, there are many uncertainties in this world. She has only read novels and only knows some general situations. However, Fen Ling knows better than Fen Tian. At any time, you must fight for yourself. If you don't fight for many things, then there will only be endless difficulties waiting for you. Soon, Fen Tian agreed, "Okay, but Ling Ling, you must not leave me." Fen Tian was very afraid that Fen Ling would be in danger after going out. No matter what, he must protect his daughter. He no longer had his wife and could no longer live without his daughter. Fen Tian looked at Fen Ling, his eyes full of complexity. Fen Ling curled her lips and said, "Okay. But Dad, I think we'd better go out today, because in 2 days, the monsters outside may be even more powerful. Moreover, everyone will come out one after another in 2 days, and it may be more difficult to find food. What do you think?" Fen Tian agreed with Fen Ling's statement, but after all, he had just faced the situation and was under great psychological pressure. Fen Tian looked at the dark winter weather outside and sighed, "Okay, let's go out to check the situation this afternoon. We must protect ourselves. This is the first priority. Whenever you encounter danger, run away, do you understand?" "Oh, I see." Fen Ling simply agreed, but she knew very well that the situation outside was not something they could just run away based on their whims. Facts have proved that Fen Ling's idea was correct. In the afternoon, when she and Fen Tian went out, they were surrounded by monsters because of the smell. Fen Ling will call them zombies for now. Fen Tian's face was pale, but he still protected his daughter behind him. Because of his incompetence, he has already lost his wife, and he cannot lose his daughter again. Fen Ling is the only reason why he lives in this world. If Fen Ling is gone, then what is the meaning of his life? Kill them. What? Fen Tian was a little surprised when he heard Fen Ling's words. This was a human being. Although it looked scary now, murder was illegal. Now they are not people, they are monsters, monsters infected by the virus. If we don't kill them, we will die. After Fen Ling finished speaking, he used water power to kill a person. That way, he didn't look like someone who had just acquired superpowers. Fortunately, Fen Tian didn't know the situation. He didn't know as much about superpowers as Fen Ling did. Seeing all this, he could only feel that Fen Tianling is awesome. Let's go. 0-level zombies have no crystal cores, so Fen Ling didn't feel any nostalgia. Their destination is still 200 meters away, not far away. Fen Tian was stunned for a moment, then follow Dad. Yeah, Fen Ling replied lightly. Now, she is trying her best to stay rational, because she is afraid that she will not let herself have too many feelings for Fen Tian because she is irrational. Now this world is a mission. After the mission is over, she will leave for the next place. If she is right, Fen Tian has too many feelings, and she is afraid that she will not be able to get out in the end. This is what Fen Ling least wants to see. With Fen Ling's help, Fen Tian and Fen Ling got a lot of food. They were all pretended by Fen Tian, but Fen Ling didn't pretend, because she had inexhaustible food in her system, so she didn't need to worry at all, but because she couldn't let others know that she had space, she could only let Fen God took him away. Otherwise, they don't need to come out to find food at all. Fen Tian felt much better after getting the things. After returning to the room with Fen Ling, he said, "I can support it for several days now. Dad, there should be a car from the state arriving in a few days." End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 334. Chapter 334. You mean, there will be a country's car coming to rescue us? Feng Tian's eyes lit up. Obviously, he still had expectations for the word country, but in the end of the world, how could there still be a country? In the face of life and death, any country or unity has long since disappeared, and all that remains are those of use value. Fen Ling sighed, "It's not about saving us, it's just about taking us to the base. However, they will only bring people with special abilities, and ordinary people are not allowed to get on the bus." Fen Ling looked up at the sky, which was gloomy and dark, making her feel particularly depressed. The world is like this, so cold and unhuman, but what can we do? There is no other way. This is the world, this is what the world is like. Fen Ling sighed deeply, then waved to Fen Tian, "Dad, it's getting late. You should go back and rest first. I'm tired too. See you tomorrow. Oh, okay, see you tomorrow. Go to bed early. Obviously, Feng Tian has not yet recovered from what Feng Ling said. But Feng Ling has already gone back. She lay on the bed, looked at the ceiling and asked the system, "System, where do you think Yekinghan is?" The system doesn't know either. The system's soft and nutty answer. Feng Ling frowned and jumped up from the bed. Pretend to be stupid. Tell me, where did Yekinghan go? Direction, location, and whether he is in this world or not. If you can't tell me, I will jump off the building tomorrow. You should know what we will face if we die without completing the task. What will you face, right? If the task is not completed, both the system and the original owner will die. Feng Ling is threatening the system with life and death. The system's hair stood on end. Feng Ling, little ancestor, what are you doing? Aren't I afraid that you will be distracted? What's more, you also know that if we fail to complete the task, we have to. I understand, but you must also understand that I promised you to complete the task because you told me that I could see Yekinghan. However, if Yekinghan is no longer in this world, if I can never see him again, what do you think? Do I still need to work hard? Little ancestor, are you so persistent for a man? Are you showing favoritism out of love? The system is the system after all. I don't know what Feng Ling is thinking. Feng Ling sneered, I'll give you half a day to think about it. Otherwise, you know, if I wanted to leave this world, it would be easy. Of course the system doesn't know that no one has liked Feng Ling since she was born. Her parents like Feng Shuang. Later, she gradually became lively and cheerful after meeting Yun Kai. But now, Yun Kai is gone, that world is gone, and she couldn't go back, not even Yekinghan, the only one who could be with her, was gone. This kind of loneliness is more terrifying than killing her. Little ancestor, I promise you. The system was still scared. Lingling, actually Yekinghan should be in this world, and I have a feeling that the task in this world should be a big task, because I also feel a few existences like me in this world. There should be a competitive relationship between you. As for Yekinghan, if you are destined to meet, you will definitely meet, because, according to calculations, Yekinghan is in this plane, but I don't know where. Who are you? At the same moment, Yekinghan asked a voice in his head in confusion. Hello master, I am the system that helps you regain your life, a boy's voice sounded. Yekinghan frowned, what does it mean to be reborn? Master, you died a long time ago. End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 335. Chapter 335. But because of 001, you can live again in this world. However, you must complete the designated tasks. Otherwise, you will be judged to be unqualified and you will no longer have the possibility of rebirth. The system said. Yekinghan nodded, quickly accepted the result, and then continued to ask, where is Lingling, do you know where she is? It seems that he has not found Feng Ling for a long time. The system paused and said, you need to find this yourself, the system cannot tell you. Can't tell, Yekinghan curled her lips, that means you know. System. Oops. Got tricked. The system looked at Yekinghan slyly, no, master. It doesn't matter. System, as expected, its owner is the best. The next moment, it doesn't matter. Since you call me master, it proves that it's not me begging you, but you begging me. In this case, you should think carefully about when you want to tell me. Anyway, it will take 3 days. If you don't tell me within 3 days, let's break up, and don't be a part of my system. I'll die anyway, but you won't be able to get better if I die. System. Ying, the master threatens people. Soon, the system confessed, just like Fenling's system. As Fenling said, a military vehicle came to pick her up the next day. People in military uniforms knocked on the door and asked them if they had any special powers and what they were. Fenling only reported water-based abilities, because full support and light-based abilities are her trump cards. She remembered that the light system was a particularly rare ability, and as for full support, it seemed that it had not been used yet. If she told the truth, she would face hundreds of pairs of eyes now, and she didn't want to become someone else's experiment. People heard that she had water powers, so they didn't pay much attention to her. Instead, I pay more attention to Fen Tian, because ice-based powers can do many things that water-based powers cannot. Fen Tian also understood Fenling's intention of keeping a trump card, so he didn't say it out loud. Anyway, he just wanted to work hard to protect his daughter. Every time they go to the city, they talk about a bag of rice, and Fenling and Fen Tian are no exception. Fen Tian felt distressed for a long time, but Fenling didn't even look at her. She was not short of food at all, so she didn't need to worry. The system has everything. She just needs to think of a way to survive and find Yeking Han. What is that? If you dare to come here even if you are begging for food, get out of here. As soon as she entered the base, Fenling heard a man's voice. When she looked over, she found that he was driving away a girl. The girl was dirty and seemed to have bad legs and feet. She was beaten severely by the man, but she just endured it without saying a word. Fenling pursed her lips, walked to her and squatted down. Why did you hit her? She is so dirty, she came over and dirty my place. The man's tone is not very good. Fenling pursed her lips. She didn't steal or rob, and your name isn't written in this place. Why can't she come over? This person is clearly a dog looking down on others. Shameless. It seemed that Fenling had spoken her mind, and the man's attitude became even worse. What do you care about? I just won't let her come over. What's wrong? Is this place for sale? What? The man was a little confused. I'm going to tell you whether this place is for sale or not. Sell, 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 miss, do you want to buy? A man emerged from inside. This place has always been for sale, but because everyone can't afford food, it has always been rented. Now someone wants to buy it, of course it is the best. How much did it cost? I bought it. You bought it, haha, little girl, I advise you to calm down and ask how much this place costs. It's not enough for me to pay the rent every month. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 336. Chapter 336. Fenling had no intention of chatting with the man. She just asked the seller, how much do you want? I'll pay. As soon as the words came out, everyone looked over. The man selling the house nodded repeatedly. Come on, here is the list, you can take a look if you want to pay in installments. No need, I'll just give it to you. Fenling took out the things from the car. It was all the things they had searched for yesterday. About 3/4 of them were given to the man, but she didn't care at all. Is it enough? That's enough, that's enough. Okay, this land belongs to you, miss, you can use it as you want now. The men ran away quickly, not wanting to participate in their war. Fenling curled her lips. Since I can use it however I want, then. Fenling looked at the man and said, you guys, beat him out. How dare you? I don't care who you are, you can see if I dare. Fenling rolled her eyes and asked someone to beat the man out before pulling the little girl up. Why didn't you resist just now? I can't beat him. The girl looked at Fenling cautiously. She wanted to come here and wait to see if there was anything that everyone didn't want to eat. She could give it to her brother. But now, everyone doesn't seem to like her appearance. Every time she appears, everyone kicks her out. She doesn't know why. But, my brother cannot stop eating. Fenling probably understood, and then knelt down and looked at the girl. Now it's because the situation has changed, so food has become very, very precious. That's why everyone is like this. It's not your fault. What you did was not wrong in the original society. You just want to live without stealing or robbing. But you can't do this now. No one will waste food anymore, so you can only rely on yourself now. On your own, the little girl looked at Fenling confused. She doesn't quite know how to rely on herself. Sister, I don't know anything, I don't know what to do. It doesn't matter. You can stay with your sister first, and she will teach you. Okay. Fenling looked at the little girl tenderly, and the little girl nodded. Sister, I want to give my brother some food. Can you give me some food? Just a little bit will be fine, at least she can let her brother eat a little bit. Fenling nodded, of course, but you have to take me to see your brother and see how he is doing. After all, I have to know his condition before I know what to give him, right? Well, okay, sister, come with me. The girl took Fenling to a small wooden house. This small wooden house was very simple. It looked like no one had lived in it for a long time. Only the girl's brother's room is much cleaner. Perhaps that's why the girl cleans every day. Fenling glanced at the girl's brother. Although his condition was okay, he was malnourished. If he continued, serious complications would likely occur. From now on, follow my list and cook every day. You should know how to cook, right? Yes, sister, the girl nodded. Fenling rubbed the girl's head and said, very good, your brother is a little malnourished now, so we need to supplement his nutrition. When the time comes, I will give you the vegetables and you can make them yourself for your brother to eat. Don't let him eat something too greasy recently, because it's not good for his stomach. Give him porridge first, so that he can eat normally in a few days. Do you understand? Fenling patiently asked this. The girl nodded and said seriously, sister, I understand. Don't worry. Sister, thank you. It's all because of you that my brother and I were saved. She will always remember it. End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 337. Chapter 337. How did you get here? Fenling asked the girl in her spare time. The girl was wearing tattered clothes, holding a bowl with unfinished noodles in her little hands. She looked at Fenling and said, sister, our parents brought us in, but... The girl lowered her head, looking sad, but they are all dead. She really, really misses her parents. She doesn't quite understand what's going on in the world. It seems like her uncles and aunts who were good to them in the past have changed and become very indifferent. Don't even want to talk to them. They all think that she and her younger brother are a drag, but she can do a lot of things and she has a very good look. Little girl, what is your name? Fenling squatted down and asked. The girl scratched her head and said, my name is Kinyu, and my brother's name is Qian Chen. Kinyu and Qian Chen sound really nice. Fenling raised her eyebrows and continued to ask, so, do you have anything similar to this? Fenling asked, spreading her hands, and water droplets appeared from her hands little by little, and then formed a flower made of water. The girl looked at the thing in Fenling's hand, nodded, and stretched out her little hand. Sister, I have it, but mine is different from my sister's. The girl spread her palms, and then a soft light appeared. It is the ability of the auxiliary system. However, it is not yet known exactly what the girl's power is in the auxiliary system. However, this group of people don't want these two people because they are still children, but no one knows that these two people are the real treasures. Auxiliary abilities are very rare throughout the apocalypse. Fenling rubbed the girl's head. You did a good job, but you can only show this thing to me now, and you can't let others know about it. You can't use it unless I let you use it, you know. Okay, sister. Kinyu nodded without asking Fenling why. Fenling laughed. This child was not afraid of selling her out. However, there are very few people as simple as Qianyu in this world now. Tell me, does your brother have anything like this? The girl nodded. Yes, I saw white lines on my brother's palms like thunder in the sky before, but because my brother is in poor health now, I never saw it again. A person with lightning powers. Fenling sighed. What kind of two good seedlings did they miss? The two people here will be robbed if they are taken out alone. It seems that if those people know about it in the future, they will be envious and jealous, but so what? Who makes them think that these two children are just dragsters and are unwilling to take care of them? Fenling rubbed the girl's head and said, okay, let's go see your brother. When Fenling and Qianyu went in, the boy was already awake. However, what surprised Fenling was that the boy's eyes were very cold, very cold. He was not the same as Qianyu at all. He was obviously only 6 years old, but he looked like a man who had gone through many vicissitudes of life. Like the old man. Who are you? Although the boy was weak, his aura was terrifying, but Fenling was not afraid of the boy's aura at all. She strolled up to the boy and sat down. My name is Fenling, and I will take care of you two from now on. Why, what's the purpose? Qian Chen was terrifyingly calm. He simply does not believe that anyone is willing to help them unconditionally, unless he knows there is something they can use. Thinking of this, Kinkin's pupils shrank and he looked at Kinyu. Sister, did you tell her about our superpowers? Kinyu was stunned for a moment. As expected, you told her. Qian Chen simply stated the fact and seemed not to blame Qianyu. End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 338. Chapter 338. He turned to look at Fenling. I advise you not to take us with you, you will regret it. Why? Fenling looked at Qian Chen with a smile. Perhaps, you should believe that I want you and want to raise you not just because you have powers. This is only part of the reason. Maybe, you should listen to me. Explain. What explanation? Kinyu looked at her coldly. Fenling smiled and said, I want to set up a base of my own, so I want you to be the first generation members of this base. What do you think? Kinkin's pupils shrank sharply. You. He never thought that at the beginning of the end of the world, a girl would think of establishing a base. However, establishing a base requires great determination and courage. She also has a very outstanding talent. Does she have it? You should believe me, I never do anything I'm not sure about. Fenling looked calm from beginning to end. Even though Qian Chen pretended to be mature, he still had to say that Fenling's aura was far greater than his. I can trust you to give it a try, but I won't listen to you on everything. You need to give me and my sister a certain amount of freedom. Ken. Fenling raised her eyebrows, and then said, the rest of the time will be given to you and your sister. You should have a lot to say. Fenling left. Qian Chen looked at Fenling's back and sighed. On the other side, Qianyu looked at her younger brother in confusion, not knowing why. Qian Chen had no intention of telling his sister. Actually, the reason why his health is not good is because of the backlash caused by the superpower. Thunder powers are very powerful powers, so in order to protect them, Abba and Mom never told others. However, because they didn't tell others, everyone felt that their family was easy to bully. So that day, their uncle and aunt's family wanted to kidnap their parents for a little food. When their parents didn't want to, they started fighting. He watched with his own eyes as his uncle and aunt killed his parents. In the end, his father protected them and left. My sister fell into a coma on the way, and he, holding on to his last bit of consciousness, saw his uncle and the others killing his father. Then he would hide in a place where he could not wake up. Later, when he woke up, his sister brought him to the base. They change their names and survive here, but the adults here are just as disgusting as their uncles and aunts, because they are nothing, just a little transparent. They are still children, so they avoid them like lightning, and it is wrong for them to even walk around outside. He wanted revenge, very much. So, he must become stronger. Just now, he was very, very moved by that woman's condition. So, he thought, he could do it? Perhaps, it's not impossible to give it a try. The next day, Qian Chen walked up to Feng Ling and said, I agree, I will follow you. Let's eat. Feng Ling didn't seem surprised. This made Qian Chen a little unhappy. Why don't you feel a little surprised? Do you need a surprise? Feng Ling blinked. If you don't agree, I'll just look for you again. What's more, your sister will agree. If your sister comes over, will you not come over? Qian Chen felt that this woman was really hateful, but he had no choice but to stay silent. It's time to eat. Sister Qian Chen glanced at Feng Ling, and then started to eat. Speaking of which, Feng Ling didn't know where he got so many delicious foods. If people outside knew about this, I'm afraid everyone would eat. The jealous ones will ascend to heaven. The group of people outside eat steamed buns, and instant noodles every day due to conditions. Where is Feng Ling? Still eating decently. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 339. Chapter 339. Everyone who has just joined needs to complete the mission within 3 days, because the mission at this time is relatively simple, so Feng Ling joined without any psychological burden. You have to go on a mission sooner or later. Go out early, and then you can do your own things after the mission is done. This is what Feng Ling thinks, but Feng Tian is a little nervous. Lingling, you must be careful when you go out later, don't get caught, do you understand? I know, don't worry, your daughter is very powerful. Feng Ling raised her eyebrows. Ms. Feng, I want to talk to you. These past few days, Xian has been watching all this in her conscious space, so at this time, she wanted to have a chat with Feng Ling. Feng Ling nodded, talked to Feng Tian, and returned to his room. Go ahead. Miss Feng, my dad, does he really love me? What do you think? You should have an answer in your mind these days, right? If you didn't have an answer, you wouldn't ask me. Now that you have the answer, what are you still hesitating about? The girl was silent. What was she hesitating about? She was afraid that something like her mother would happen again. You should know that after your mother left, your father never drank again, which shows that he realized that he was wrong. Of course, he has not married anyone in these years. I can't tell you how much your father loves your mother. But all of this is at least partly because of you. He is afraid of finding another one. What if he doesn't treat you well? Right? I can't tell you that you have to forgive your father, because your father did something wrong and it caused irreparable consequences. My appearance is just to let you look at the world from a third-party perspective in the space of consciousness, referred to as God's perspective. Perhaps, your inner thoughts will change. But you must also remember that whether you change or not, it is not you who is wrong. From the beginning to the end, you are not wrong. This is true, you know? Well, I understand. The girl nodded, and then continued, you will go out soon, and I want to fight by myself. I'm afraid that I won't be able to live after you leave. Feng Ling said before that she wanted to establish a small base, and she agreed. If she didn't agree, she would organize Fenling. But these days, she looks at all this and knows that only by standing on the top can she decide many things. So now, she must become stronger. Fenling nodded, okay, let's keep in touch. If you are in danger, I will come out to protect you at any time. After coming to this world, the exchange of bodies between her and the original body became a seamless connection, which completely satisfied this condition. Fenling set off with Feng Tian and the convoy. The place they set off was in the forest not far away. Which place is most likely to be haunted by zombies and is also the easiest place to attack the city, so people are sent there every day. Extermination on the border in order to control the quantity. Alright, teams 1 and 2 will go to the east, teams 3 and 4 will go to the west, and come back before the sun sets. The auxiliary superpowers are in the center of the team, you must protect them. If there are no auxiliary abilities, then the team cannot guarantee safety. This is also why auxiliary power users are so popular. After everyone agreed, they set off in their own direction. Fenling and Feng Tian were both in the first team. They and the second team totaled 20 people. There were a lot of people entering the city today, so there were also a lot of people coming out. They entered little by little, only to find that there seemed to be no zombies in the forest, no trace at all. Fenling frowned, always feeling that something was not right about this situation, and just thought so. End of this chapter. The max level boss is too cruel. Author, Fire Otter. Chapter 340. Chapter 340. Suddenly a particularly flexible zombie appeared. It's level 2. Fenling said in the girl's posture space. The girl stiffened for a moment and heard Fenling say, "Don't be afraid. Use your eyes and body to feel his movements. Protect yourself at any time and make good use of your water power. Water is a very soft thing, but if there are more, it can become a particularly strong city wall." Fenling guided the girl little by little. The girl was panicked and scared at the beginning, and then everyone was afraid. Only the girl focused her eyes on the zombies. She began to feel that Fenling was really powerful. If she followed Fenling, she would definitely become a particularly powerful person. Block, someone come quickly, help. A person with auxiliary powers was suddenly approached by a zombie and was about to be bitten. The people with powers nearby looked on with cold eyes and did not dare to step forward. It seemed that as long as they were not bitten, they had nothing to do with him. Just when the auxiliary superpower was in despair, a water jet appeared and knocked away the zombies. The girl stood in front of him, took him up, and then looked at the others. If you don't want the whole army to be annihilated, don't just sit back and watch. This thing is not something you can escape by yourself. If you want to escape completely, except for kill him, there is no other way. What are you talking about? What you said is very clear. We are all ordinary people and have never killed anyone. What can we do? That's right, what if we are bitten, we still want to live. I just know how to talk, but I can only talk but not do it, just talk on paper. The girl listened to those people and smiled coldly. I can only talk but not do anything? I think you are the cowards. If you continue, none of us will be alive today. As he spoke, a person was attacked by zombies, holding his hands and wailing over there. The girl looked at the man coldly. Did you see it? He is a typical example. Whether you want to become like that or not, you decide for yourself. If you rush, there is still a chance of survival. If you don't, we will be wiped out today. Don't expect those people to come to save us. Why should we save someone who has no use value? After Fenling finished speaking, he rushed forward and started fighting with the zombies. At first, everyone wanted to watch them fight, but later they discovered that it was impossible because this zombie was very smart and would always hit you when you least expected it. In the end, everyone had no choice but to fight with Fenling. Fight together. But because there was no concerted effort, in the end, everyone was scarred and only 7 people were left, but the zombies seemed to be okay. "I'll do it," Fen Ling said in the consciousness space. "The girl has done very well. It's just that her current ability is not enough to deal with this zombie." "Well, thank you for your hard work." It doesn't matter. After Fen Ling came out, her aura changed instantly. The zombie probably felt it too, so he accelerated his attack. However, there was no other way. Fen Ling was too powerful. In addition, she could by secretly using auxiliary powers. Her speed, defense, and attack power were greatly improved in all aspects. Finally, the second-level zombie died. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Fen Ling with eyes filled with admiration. But Fen Ling didn't have the heart to think about this. "How are you?" Fen Ling looked at Fen Tian. He was not caught by the zombies, but his foot was pierced by a branch. "The bleeding doesn't stop now." Fen Tian shook his head. "It's okay, Lingling, are you injured? Are you okay?" "Dad, take a look." Fen Tian looked at Fen Ling nervously. Fen Ling felt sour in her heart. "I'm fine. Don't worry, I'll help you with treatment now." End of this chapter.